Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the court?
Of course. My name is James Chesney.
And what do you do?
I'm a detective with MCPD Major Crimes.
Could you clarify for the jury what the MCPD is?
Of course, that's Midland Center Police Department, Major Crimes Division.
What sort of experience do you have working for the MCPD?
I graduated from Police Academy in 2008. And after that, I was on uniform patrol in the East Sector for about 8 years. In 2016, I made detective, received some more training, and since then I've been with the Major Crimes Division.
Now, why are you here today?
I was the investigating officer into Parker Page's disappearance and death.
Could you tell us who Parker Page was?
She was a 12-year-old girl with brittle bone disease.
Did she have any living parents?
One biological living parent, Miss Jordan Ryder.
Is Miss Ryder in court today?
Yes, she's right behind you wearing a brown cardigan.
Let the record reflect that Detective Chesney has identified Miss Jordan Ryder as a defendant.
Yes.
Now, Detective, let's talk about how you became involved in today's case. When did you first become involved?
July 15th, 2018.
And how did you become aware of this case?
That morning, the supervisor came by my desk and let me know that someone had reported a possible child abduction. So I responded to go speak with the reporting party.
What did you learn at the scene?
We learned from Corbin Dallas, Parker Page's aunt, that she and Miss Ryder had last been seen on July 13th, and that tracking software on Parker Page's phone placed her at the Calkins campground the next day.
Did you go to the Calkins campground?
Yes, I did.
Did anyone else go with you?
Yes, I left some officers at the scene to continue investigating the home, and myself and the rest went to the Calkins campground.
Did you do anything on your way to the Calkins campground?
First of all, I raided for backup from Fish and Wildlife, as well as the State Patrol. Then I also did a record search on Miss Ryder.
What time did you arrive at the Calkins campground?
9:55 in the morning.
And what was the first thing you did when you arrived?
I found the campground owner, Ms. Armando Rodriguez.
And what did you learn?
I learned that she had seen Miss Ryder and Parker Page the previous day going hiking, and that Miss Ryder was staying at campsite 12.
Did you go to campsite 12?
Yes, immediately.
Did you find anyone there?
Miss Ryder and just Miss Ryder.
So just to clarify, her daughter Parker Page was not at the campground.
That's right.
Now, what did you see Miss Ryder doing?
At 10 a.m. she was sleeping.
Did you wake her up?
Yes, I did.
And did you start questioning her?
Yes, I began to ask her where her daughter was.
Did she respond to this?
Yes, but she had no idea where her daughter was or when she got missing.
Now, how did Miss Ryder seem to you when you spoke?
She seemed pretty nervous to me.
Objection to speculation as to the mindset of Miss Ryder. May I further explain? Yes. Detective Chesney just stated that Miss Ryder was nervous. He stated no foundation as to how he would know that.
May I respond?
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, this isn't going to speculation, but rather the detective's rationally based perception. If I may make an offer of proof?
Yes.
The detective just stated that Miss Ryder seemed nervous when he spoke to her. And my further question from there was going to ask the detective why he believed that.
May I respond to that? If Detective Chesney is to state that Miss Ryder seemed nervous, we would need to hear some foundation as to how he would know that.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to agree with the defense. The witness will first have to lay that foundation for how he came to the conclusion that she seemed nervous before he can state that that was his impression. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, why did Miss Ryder seem nervous to you?
She was saying,
Objection. This is just the same question asking how Miss Ryder seemed nervous. He's still stating that Miss Ryder seemed nervous without any further foundation laid to prove that this was true.
May I respond?
No, the objection is sustained. You'll have to reword your question.
Thank you. Detective Chesney, what was Miss Ryder doing when you spoke to her?
well, she was stumbling over her words and saying a lot.
And did you ask her why she was doing this?
I did. I asked her why she was nervous, and she told me she was nervous because she was out on parole and worried about violating her conditions.
And learning this, what did you do?
Oh, at that point, based on the fact that Miss Ryder informed me that she had her daughter, taken her daughter camping, but did not legally have her daughter in her parental custody, I took Miss Ryder into custody.
Now, once you'd arrested Miss Ryder, what was your biggest priority?
Well, Parker Page is still missing, so finding her and making sure she was safe. was our biggest priority.
So, did you begin the search for Miss Ryder?
Yes, I did. Fish and Wildlife took that on since that's more their area.
Now, while Fish and Wildlife were organizing the search, what did you do?
Well, I was waved down by a hiker who had seen the two together the previous day.
What did you learn?
She said that she had seen Miss Ryder and Parker Page out in the Lacrone Loop Trail. Right there.
Objection to hearsay as to the statements of this witness. May I explain?
Yes.
Detective Chesney is using these out-of-court statements for the truth of the matter asserted that these two were on Calkins campground, and this is an inadmissible example of hearsay.
May I respond?
Yes.
The detective is not stating this for the truth of the matter asserted, but rather for subsequent action. If I may make an offer of proof.
Can you remind me what the statement was?
The statement was that this witness had told them that she had seen Parker Page and the defendant at a certain location on the Calkins campground and was offering to take them there.
And who was the witness that made the statement?
The detective did not specify who this witness was.
Is he aware?
He is aware. I can ask him.
Please do.
Detective, who is this hiker that you spoke to?
That'd be Miss Kelly Dews.
And what did you...
Sorry, we're not done with the objection yet. So, do you contest that they were at this point on the loop?
This is contested, as Ms. Dews is not a witness that was called. Using her statements as to the location of Jordan Ryder and Parker Page is being used for the truth of the matter asserted to show that they were at this point.
Right, but my question is, do you contest that they were at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Yes.
Like I said, this is not going to the truth of the matter asserted, but rather to the detective's subsequent action, if I may make an offer of proof. The detective is going to testify that based on this information, himself and the rest of the searching officers then went to that location at the campground where they later found Parker Page's body.
May I respond to that?
No, I'm going to sustain the objection. It seems like you're getting at the fact that the statement was made to prove that the defendant took the Parker Page to where she ultimately passed or was found to have passed, so that would be used for the truth of the matter asserted, so sustained.
Yes, Your Honor.
Detective, where did your search begin?
We went up about 3 miles up the Lacrone Loop Trail.
And would you be able to tell us where you went on the Lacrone Loop on a map?
Yes, it would be.
Permission for my witness to step down and make use of the demonstrative.
Yes, so granted.
And let the record reflect I'm approaching opposing counsel with exhibits 5, 6, 7, and 23.
All right, do you have any objection to the demonstrative being displayed?
No objection to the demonstrative being displayed, and as this has not yet been entered into evidence, we would just like to note that pursuant to stipulation 3, we have no objection to the admissibility of exhibit 23.
Okay.
So, this is just a physical copy of that. And like I said, it's 5, 6, and 7 respectively. Approaching the witness with the same. And would the bench like a copy as well?
Yes, please.
Exhibit 6, Exhibit 7, and Exhibit 23, which is a larger version. Detective, can you clarify what I just handed you?
Oh, these are normal photographs that I took of the Lacrone Loop Trail.
And what is this blown up display here?
This is the map of Calkins campground as well as the surrounding trails.
Now, are the photographs fair and accurate copies?
Yes, there. I took these.
And is this map a fair and accurate copy?
Yes, it is.
The state moves exhibits 5, 6, 7, and 23 in evidence.
Any objection?
Without objection.
All right, so entered.
So, Detective, could you go ahead and mark for us here on the map where you and the other officers went?
Of course. So this right here, that's the campground proper. This is the Lacrone Loop Trail. And myself and the other officers went here to this T intersection.
Now, what were the trail conditions like on the way to that T intersection?
Well, based on what I saw, I'd say that they were fairly dangerous.
Lack of foundation, objection to lack of foundation. May I be heard?
Yes.
We have heard no foundation as to how this trail was dangerous. Detective Chesney is simply offering this statement that it was without any type of explanation.
If I may respond,
Yes.
I'd like the opportunity to lay this foundation through the photographs that Detective Chesney has taken.
Okay, then let's lay the foundation before we introduce the statement.
Okay.
Sustained.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Detective,
Motion to strike that last statement from the record.
Stricken.
Detective Chesney, through the photographs that you took, could you tell us about the trail conditions?
Sure thing. So this photograph here is Exhibit 6. You can see from this that the trail is fairly steep, drops off to the left side, and is covered with a lot of very large rocks that'd be easy for someone to trip on. And this photograph here, Exhibit 7, this shows a large ravine that runs along most of the Lacrone Loop Trail. You can see that ravine on the map running away in here. This ravine is fairly steep drop and be fairly easy for someone to trip on. So I'd say the trail conditions were fairly dangerous.
Were there any warnings about the trail conditions?
Yes, there were.
Did you take any photographs of these warnings?
I did. That's right here, Exhibit 5. This is a warning sign that was put right at the beginning of the trail. It simply says that small children, that several people have died, small children shouldn't use the trail.
Now, once you made your way up to the trail to that T intersection, did you find anything?
Nothing at the T intersection, but we had a police dog with us, and that police dog began to indicate over the side right about here.
Did you go down to where the dog was indicated?
We did. We found a safe remedy.
Did you find anything down there?
Yes. We found the body of Parker Page about 40 feet below the cliff's edge.
Was Parker Page alive?
No, she's not.
Permission for the detective to step down and return to the stand.
Yes.
Detective, once you found Parker Page, what did you do?
Well, at that point, I secured the scene and I radioed for medical backup.
And once medical arrived, what did you do?
I left some officers there, and then I returned back to the campground property.
Did you do anything else at the campground?
At that point, I returned back to the center along with the other witnesses.
Now, what did you learn when you returned to Midland Center?
We learned that Parker Page and Jordan Ryder had been seen hiking there at that spot the previous day, and that
Objection once again to hearsay. This relates back to the previous testimony of witness that Detective Chesney mentioned earlier in his direct that they were at that spot, which had been ruled as inadmissible. So I request that this line be stricken from the testimony.
Is this a conclusion based off of the same statement?
This is not a conclusion based on the same statement.
So can you make an offer, or can you proffer anything as to what it's based on?
Yes, Your Honor. This testimony is based on the admissions of Armando Rodriguez, the campground owner, as well as Ms. Dews, who was mentioned earlier.
May I respond to that? Ms. Dews is the witness that we ruled her statements were inadmissible hearsay. If Detective Chesney is basing his opinion on these matters, this would be inadmissible.
I am inclined to agree with you. However, we know that Parker was at some point in this area because that's where she was found. So I will strike the portion that the defendant was there. However, the portion that Parker was at this part of the loop will stay on record.
Detective, could you clarify what those witnesses told you?
yes, they said that they heard Parker Page screaming from that area between about 4:30 and 4:40 p.m.
And did you gather any physical evidence?
Yes, I did.
Could you tell us what that physical evidence was?
Yes. So we collected a number of things from Ms. Ryder's person when we took her into custody, mostly camping equipment, but there was also a napkin. And then we also had some letters between Ms. Dallas and Ms. Ryder.
You mentioned some letters between Ms. Dallas and Ms. Ryder. Would you recognize copies of those letters?
Yes, I would.
Approaching opposing counsel with exhibits 10A and 10B. Copies. Approaching the witness with the same and with the bench record copy.
Yes, please.
Exhibit 10A and 10B. Detective, what have I just handed you?
This is the letter that Ms. Dallas had sent to Ms. Ryder.
And are these fair and accurate copies of that letter?
Yes, it is.
At this time, the state moves exhibit 10A and 10B into evidence.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. I would object to hearsay as to the statements of Corbin Dallas. May I explain?
Mm-hmm.
These are simply out-of-court statements from Corbin Dallas that are being used for the truth of the matter asserted in this instance.
May I respond?
Yes.
These aren't going to show the truth of the matter asserted, but rather the subsequent action of the recipient, Ms. Ryder.
what are the subsequent actions?
The fact that she would have known that her daughter had brittle bone disease and the actions she would have taken with this knowledge.
May I respond to that?
Is the defendant aware that Parker had brittle bone disease?
That is contested. The extent of which the defense knew how the brittle bone disease affected Parker, how severe the disease was that affected Parker, that is contested. So these statements from Corbin are being used for the truth of the matter asserted in showing that knowledge.
So your argument is just that they're being offered for the truth?
Yes.
And you're saying they're not being offered for the truth, but you're trying to prove that Parker had brittle bone?
No, Your Honor, we're trying to show the defendant's subsequent action upon receiving these letters.
But is it a point of contention for you that Parker had brittle bone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm inclined to think they're being offered for the truth. However, it doesn't seem like this whole document goes to Parker having brittle bone. Who is Corbin Dallas?
Corbin Dallas is the half-sister of the defendant, the aunt of Parker Page, and a witness we'll be calling later in trial today.
Okay. If you're going to be calling her, it might be easier for you to bring her in. Do you contest that these are written by Corbin?
It's not contested that these
Okay.
letters are written by Corbin.
So then, why don't we bring the documents in, we'll redact the portions of it that explain, that say Parker had brittle bone. And if you want, we can reevaluate that when Corbin takes the stand, see if there's anything that she may have to offer to change that. Would that be acceptable under your, or would that?
Yes, Your Honor. If the state would like to try to enter these documents under Corbin Dallas, we would be agreeable to the possibility of that.
Okay, so then right now, I'm gonna partially sustain, partially overrule. We'll bring the documents and we're gonna redact anything that says Parker has brittle bone, or Parker, if it says Parker has whatever the scientific term is listed in here. And you have no, your only objection is to it being used for the truth.
Yes.
Okay, then we're going to move the documents into evidence, partially redacted.
Yes.
Now, Detective, when were these letters by Corbin Dallas written?
Roughly 5 years ago.
Permission to approach and retrieve?
Yes.
Once you gathered the physical evidence, did you interview the defendant?
Yes, I did.
And when you interviewed Miss Ryder, did she say what the hike had been like on July 14th?
Yes, she said the hike had been fairly difficult, and that she had pushed Parker to keep going, and that the two had come back.
Did she state whether her daughter had been injured or not?
That was inconclusive.
Could you clarify?
Well, several times during the interview, Ms. Ryder had stated that Parker had been hurt, but when I asked her how she was hurt and how badly, Ms. Ryder at that point changed her story and said that she had not been hurt at all.
Now, did she say what had happened after her daughter wasn't hurt?
She said that they went back to the campground.
And did she say anything that happened after that?
She said that that evening, around dark, Parker Page had left the campground.
Did she say if she tried to stop her daughter from leaving?
No, she did not.
After hearing this, what did you do?
Well, based on the evidence that I reviewed, at that point I referred this case to the DA for indictment.
Thank you, Detective. I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay.
Would opposing counsel like me to deconstruct the demonstration?